Hello and welcome to the world of the spirit consciousness. We are in the middle of the book study session on the astral body and other astral phenomena. We are currently discussing module 7, which deals with factors impacting the astral body. We have already covered the impact of physical life on the astral body. In this session, we'll be discussing the impact of emotional and mental life on the astral body. So diving straight in, so this particular section has two parts: the emotional life and the mental life. The emotional life itself is subdivided into various sections: the use of astral body, the emotions and the astral body, the far-reaching impact of positive emotions and actions, the special nature of impact on causal body, the desire elemental and dealing with it, which is largely repeated, but it finds solid place here, so we've included it. The impact of and on the surroundings and protecting the astral body. So coming to the use of the astral body, so the type of emotions and feelings that are active through the astral body are majorly instrumental in deciding in its quality. Like people use their physical body while doing physical activity and mental body while thinking. People use their astral body whenever expressing emotions, whether they are aware of it or not. To utilize one's astral body as an independent vehicle through which he may express his consciousness is a different matter which will be discussed in subsequent modules. So coming to emotions and the astral body. So the astral body is a space where impulses materialize. It is the mirror where the feelings get displayed. It is the place where every thought related to personal self has to express itself. It provides material to give a body structure to the negative elementals created by people's bad wishes and ill feelings. It also provides material to give a bodily structure to the good elementals created by people's love, gratitude, and good wishes. The astral body develops with usage like any other body. The astral body cultivates its own habits due to similar acts repeated again and again constantly. It receives and responds to impulse from physical body and lower mental body during the physical life. It's likely to automatically repeat vibrations it is used to, and it repeats habitual feelings and thoughts like a hand repeats habitual gestures. So let's look at the far-reaching impact of positive emotions in the actions. So this itself is divided into various parts. Actually, this section is should be called as far-reaching impact of emotions and actions. So let's look at the impact of positive emotions and actions, the impact of depression, the impact of worries, the impact of religious revivals, and the impact of emotional excitement. So the impact of positive emotions and actions. So all negative emotions like selfish thoughts, mental or selfish emotional thoughts like in the astral manifest as coarser vibrations on the respective planes. All the positive and the unselfish thoughts and emotions manifest as finer vibrations on the higher planes. The finer particles are relatively easily propelled than coarser ones. Hence, the efforts put into good thoughts or feelings produce 100 times better results than the efforts put into negative particles. This fact is essential to ensure that even an ordinary soul can make progress. So the 10% efforts towards the good part have a much more weightage than the 90% efforts on the bad part. Hence, a person gradually levels up from one lifetime to another. A person with a bare minimum effort towards good also advances a little. A person whose good and bad points are exactly even and neither advances nor deteriorates must have lived a very evil life. Someone who levels down must have lived an unusually villainous, evil life. So, even individuals who are not making conscious attempts towards evolution will gradually evolve, although it may take them millions of fruitless years and rebirths, discomfort to take one step. This is because the logos is making constant, compelling efforts to advance people ahead. The advancement of people is assured in a simple and ingenious way. As we noted earlier, the negative vibrations have coarser particles and positive ones have finer matter. Coming to the impact of depression, a study of occultism must not pay attention to depression. The student must strongly ignore it or at least not speak about suffering from it to anyone else. Paying it a lot of attention would mean that he or she is focusing more towards oneself than the master. Hence, it becomes more difficult for the master's impact to act on him or her, and it causes a lot of trouble to sensitive people and it scares children at night. A person aspiring towards occultism must not lead a life of internal emotional ups and downs. The impact of worries: an aspiring student should train not to worry. Being content and in harmony should be the aspiration. It is advisable to be optimistic considering that good always wins in the end. But if we take only the physical plane into account, it is difficult to believe it with unwavering faith. The impact of religious revivals: if a person is carried away by powerful emotions, it may lead to their death or them being obsessed, although the latter is not evil per se, but is surely harmful. Conversions at religious revivals are an example of such occurrences. In such a situation, the person gets emotionally excited to the point beyond safety. This person could be overpowered by a deceased preacher of the same religion, and hence two souls may function through one body for some time. The enormous energy of this excessive hysteria can quickly spread throughout the crowd as it is contagious. So, religious revivals have a very strong emotional impact. In certain situations, people may gain permanent advantage by converting, but a sincere student of occultism is advised against such emotional excitement, which could be harmful to many people. It is said that excitement is alien to the spiritual life. Now, just as a sub part of this, let us see how do emotional surges impact the surroundings. So, an astral disturbance has the magnitude of an enormous whirlpool. All types of nature spirits who crave sensations rush towards such a whirlpool and happily indulge in the religious, sexual, or any other type of vibrations of excitement. This can be compared to small children playing on the playground. They provide and restore the energy that is carelessly used up. Often, the main idea behind such restoration of energy being the selfish motive of saving one's own soul. Here, The astral matter has coarse particles and the nature spirits are of a low class. So now let us discuss the special nature of the impact on the causal body. So remember that each subplane of the astral body shares a relationship with the corresponding subplane of a mental body. Hence, the four lower astral subplanes correspond to the four types of mental matter of the mental body, and the three higher astral subplanes correspond to the three types of causal matter of the causal body. Therefore, the lower astral vibrations cannot find receptive matter in the causal body, which can only accept higher vibrations. Hence, a person's positive self-development registers a permanent change in the causal body. A person's negative thoughts or feelings can adversely affect only the mental body, which is new in every incarnation and hence cannot reach the soul. The bad consequences remain in the astral and the permanent mental atoms. Hence, a person has to repeatedly confront these thoughts because of them until these tendencies to respond to unwholesome vibrations are removed entirely from all his vehicles. Clearly, this is not the same as absorbing it into the soul and making it a constituent of oneself. So we've discussed the special nature of the impact of uh, the astral body in the causal body. Now we will deal with the desire elemental and dealing with it, which we know is largely repeated. So we know from module 1 that the desire elemental becomes a kind of persuader of temptation. While we should not think of it as evil, but we should not give in to their temptations either. Humans must combat the constant need of the desire elemental to reach out to the lower types of physical vibrations. They must realize as soon as they can that the consciousness and preferences of the elemental are not their own. The elemental is not a part of them. They themselves have developed this elemental. They must not submit to its needs, rather, they should control it and overcome it. So, it would be wrong to think that by not fulfilling the desired elemental's life, we are halting its evolution. Regulating one's emotions and growing the higher qualities enable a person to let go of lower grades of elemental essence. It also helps evolve the higher grades of elemental essence. Animals can provide the lower grade vibrations for the benefit of the lower types of elemental essence. But only a human can evolve the higher kind of essence. So having discussed the desire elemental, we come to the impact of and on the surroundings. So, so here again we have subdivided the section into the introduction. We have given the example of an Indian teacher, an Indian hermit, the impact on animals, and the impact on nature spirits. Coming to the introduction, the astral matter responds more quickly to emotions from the world of mind compared to the physical matter. Since the astral body of a person is made up of astral matter, it readily responds to the influence of thoughts, vibrating to every thought from within and outside the person. It could be the person's own thoughts, it could be another person's thoughts. Hence, each person makes their own astral body capable of responding to bad thoughts and thus attracts other similar thoughts and emotion forms from nearby. Likewise, a pure astral body prevents such thoughts from entering and attracts only those thoughts and emotion forms which are in harmony with it. Here it is important to remember that the astral plane consists of thoughts and emotions of other people too, which constantly try to influence every other astral body and initiate them into vibrations similar to their own. So external astral influences are responsible for the various levels and types of moods people undergo. So depression could be caused by physical reasons like fatigue, indigestion, etc. But more often than not, it is from an astral being floating near the person to gain sympathy or to draw its deficient vitality from that person. Anger. A person white with rage temporarily loses grip of his/her astral body and the desire elemental hence takes charge. In such a situation, either a dead man of similar quality or a bad artificial element can obsess the person. Having seen the introduction, let us move on to the example of an Indian teacher. So in the East, the impact of astral vibrations on the astral body of others is understood very well. Here, hence, it is extremely beneficial for a student to live in the vicinity of a highly evolved teacher. So an Indian teacher recommends the student to practice special types of exercises and studies to cleanse, nourish, and evolve the astral body. So he adapts and harmonizes the student's vibration with his own by keeping the student in his physical vicinity. The teacher has harmonized his own vehicles and has adapted them to a few certain vibrations instead of many hysteric vibrations. So these harmonized vibrations are powerful and consistent every day. Regardless of whether the teacher is asleep or awake, it constantly radiates to the students. Eventually, it raises the students' vibration in harmony with the teachers. So coming to the example of the Indian hermit. So hermits staying in the forest. So an Indian who wants to pursue the higher life departs to the forest, like people of other races quit worldly life to become hermits. Here the individual has space to breathe without the constant interference of other people's thoughts and feelings on his bodies and can think more clearly. The peaceful impact of nature is also considerably helpful. So coming to the impact on animals, animals that are in close contact with humans also undergo an equivalent impact as seen in the example where students live with their teachers. So the animal is devoted to its master and tries to make mental efforts to understand what his master wants. This majorly develops the intellect and feelings of devotion and affection in the animal. Also, the person's vehicles continuously affect the animal's vehicles, which immensely helps it to advance and get ready to individualize and become human in future incarnations. Coming finally to the impact on nature spirits, a low class of nature spirits takes pleasure in feelings of anger or hatred and indulge in their vibrations. These vibrations thereby boost them and extend their life. Those who frequently submit to such emotions are often crowded by such entities. These entities eagerly await an emotional outburst and rush to indulge in them. So, after having seen the impact of and on the surroundings, let us see how does one go about protecting one's astral body. So a shell of astral matter can be developed on the outer boundaries of astral aura with an effort of will. The possible purposes of the shell are to prevent emotional vibrations like anger, jealousy, hatred from entering when sent by another person to oneself. It is to prevent the lower level of casual vibrations to hover about in the astral world and create impressions on the aura. It is to safeguard the astral body during meditations. Now, these shells are not very long lasting, however, they can be revived as often as required. So such shells can prevent vibrations from entering and exiting both. Hence, the student must make the shell out of coarse matter to allow the inflow and outflow of higher, finer vibrations. It may seem like an extension signaling weakness because if the individual was strong, the shell wouldn't be required. However, it can be advantageous to extend help to those requiring protection. So we have already discussed the factors of physical life impacting the astral body. That we have discussed just now the impact of emotional life on the astral body. Now let us see the impact of mental life on the astral body. So the mental life, this is the third and the most important factor which impacts the astral body in the ordinary waking consciousness. It has the greatest impact on the astral body because as Manas is completely enmeshed with the karma, most people can't think either of them as independent. So most people are not able to think without feeling or to some extent feel without thinking. The mind regulates and organizes the astral body. This works on the fundamental that the consciousness of a higher vehicle forms the lower vehicle. Without the creative power of thought, astral body cannot be organized. So what is the impact of the mind communicating with the physical body on the astral body? So every impulse sent by the mind to the physical body must pass through the astral body and has an impact on the astral body too. The astral matter is much more responsive to thought vibrations than the physical body is. Hence, the impact of mental vibrations is much more on the former than the latter. As a result, a restrained, well instructed, and developed mind also restrains the astral body and develops it. When the mind is not restrained, the astral body is very vulnerable to outside influences and thought currents and readily responds to them. So this brings us to the end of this particular module. The next module is sleep life. Stay tuned.